Hello and welcome to the second video on lesson 1 of AP Calculus AB. This video is going to specifically focus on some calculator review, and if you've done your summer homework, you should be in good shape. So let's just go ahead and look at some of these problems. So first problem, number 11, it says find a window to show a complete graph of y equals f of x. And indicate the scale on the graph or give your window setting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our TI-Nspire, and we're going to open up a new document, and we will add a graph. So our function that we want to add in is negative 0.2 and x cubed. Oh, sorry. Go back. X. And then I'll use the caret to the power of 3. Okay, plus, minus 2.2 x squared plus 1.6 x plus 1, and then we will hit enter, and here is our graph. So this is a cubic function. Notice that you only have 2 intersection points, so we're missing a third. So what we want to do, we want to adjust our window, essentially, what we're looking at, to be able to see all of the zeros. That's number 12. So we'll go over to menu. We'll hit 4, so window, and then we'll go to window settings, and we want to adjust this. Now I'm gonna click and drag and kind of see where essentially I want to look, and you can see that the third intersection point is over here. Prior to negative 14.78. If you ever can't find what you're looking for, another good option, again in the menu, is the window / zoom. You can zoom in, zoom out, and kind of help find that. So I'll go to window settings. I'll make my X-min negative 20. Let's say to 10. We were fine with 10, and I believe our Y scale, we want to go down a little bit more to negative 60 and up to 10. We'll see how this goes. Okay, good. So what we can see here, we can see this this valley here, the bottom of this concave down portion here, or concave up, and yeah, so there's our graph. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and note this. So the scale on the graph was negative 20 to 10, okay, and that was for our x values, and our y values. We went down to negative 60, so we could see kind of that relative minimum, and up to 10, right? And this is our y-axis. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to give a rough sketch here, and our function. Okay, and so with graphs, the first thing that you want to do, make sure you label or scale. This is just a rough sketch, so negative 20 to 10, and then our y-axis did negative 60 up here to 10, and I just want to go ahead and kind of sketch that. So you can see here maybe about 1 to negative 1, okay, and then around here maybe, I don't know, at like 50 we have our minimum. So look something like this. Okay, so that is number 11. So sketching. Okay, and we'll add on some arrows here at the end to indicate it keeps going. Okay. Number 12, it says find the zeros of our function f of x. So remember from our summer videos, in order to analyze the zeros, we're going to go back to our function. And remember, these points here are the zeros. So this isn't as slick as Desmos. You can't just click on the point and it'll give you the point. So we're going to have to do some extra work here. So I'll go Menu. I'll go Analyze Graph, and I want to analyze the zeros. So in order to analyze, you have to give the calculator kind of two markers and where to look. So I'm going to click on the left side, and I'll go over it, and I'll just click again on the right side, and here is our first zero. Okay, so we have two more, so we'll do this again. So Analyze Graph, 0, click, click. Move this dude out of the way. Analyze Graph. Click, click. Okay, and there are our zeros that we have. Okay, now these zeros occur at -11, 6. Notice here how that's kind of a small number. At this time, I want to make sure that your calculator settings, that in this class we're always going to go to 3 decimals or more, truncated or rounded, and that is for our final answer. If we're ever working with values, I want you to use 5 digits. I'm going to ask that you do more. That way we avoid rounding errors. And if you had me as a student before, you know that I stress this a lot. So we'll go into settings, so menu settings. And notice how it says display digits, float 3. We want to go down float 7. We want to capture everything, okay? So I'll click OK, and there we go. So you'll notice that we have more numbers. Okay, so here's our values. Our zeros are at x equals -11.650. So this is rounded. Also on the AP exam, you can truncate. So if you make a lot of rounding errors, they do accept 649. So, oh, there's Ella. This is my daughter Ella. Hi, Ella. Okay. So, or I'll say here -11.649. Okay, so rounding, if that's not rounded correctly, but I want to let you know that rounded or truncated, the AP exam does accept it. Generally in this class, I'm going to hold you to higher standards, so you guys perform better on the AP exam. Okay, just a heads up. So next zero here is -0.406. Okay, and our last one, 1.056. Okay, so those are the zeros of our function. Number 13, this says find the points of the intersection for y equals -x cubed plus 12x squared plus 9x minus 3 and 3x minus y plus 5 equals 0. So we want to find out where do they intersect. So what we're going to do is we're going to set these equal to each other, and you'll notice in here that they both have a y. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this equation here and I'm going to set it equal to y. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to add the y over, it makes life easy. So y is equal to 3x plus 5. Okay, all I did was add y, right, to both sides. Okay, so we're gonna take these equations. So I'll take this equation, -x cubed. Whoa. Here we go. Okay. All right. So -x cubed plus 12x squared plus 9x minus 3 is equal to 3x plus 5. Okay, so the way to do this, right, and from our summer work, is that we are going to plug both of them into our graphing calculator and then find out, okay, where do they intersect. So I'm going to go back here. A couple of ways you can do this to add another page. I'll go Control, Add Page, Add Graph. Okay, and I'm going to add our first graph, so negative x cubed plus 12x squared plus 9x. Forgot to click the tab button. Okay. Plus 9x minus 3. And there is our graph. Again, this is a cubic function. So notice if I just scroll over, here's our function. But again, I mean, I have a maximum way up here. I kind of want to get a better view of, so I'm going to adjust my window settings. X values look fine. I think Y values, minimum's okay. Let's just bring this up a bit. Let's go up to 300 and see if we can capture it. Okay, so there's our graph. And just to capture it, I'm going to go 350. Okay, beautiful. So there's our graph. And what I'm going to do now is I will add a graph. So Control, Add Graph. Actually, I'm going to double click this. I'm going to hit Enter. Again, so hit enter on this graph, and you can enter another graph. So 3x plus 5. Okay, and here is our graph. Okay, so notice we have an intersection here, an intersection here, and an intersection here. That's when they are equal to each other. So in order to find those points, we're just going to go ahead, Menu, Analyze Graph, Intersection, and it's just like the zeros. So again, you need a left bound and a right bound. So left bound. Okay, so there's 1 point, and Menu, Analyze Graph, Intersection, left bound, right bound. Sorry, I'm going to try to grab these so they're out of each other's way. Okay, and one more time. Boop, boop. Okay, so here are our intersection points. So we'll go ahead and we'll write these down. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of math magic here, and there you go. Sorry, some video editing magic. So there are your intersection points. Again, 3 decimal places, rounded or truncated, and I just wrote intersections at, and I stacked them there. Okay. Yes, it is perfectly legal to use the at symbol on your math homework. Okay. So last question. It says use the calculator to solve the absolute value of x squared minus 5 greater than or equal to 4. Write your answer in both inequality notation and interval notation. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our calculator. We'll open up a new page again, if you forgot. So Menu, New Document, or Control Doc. So I'm going to add a graph. Okay, so what I want is the absolute value. So I'm going to go right here underneath the delete button. So I click this, and you have a whole bunch of algebraic inputs. Okay, so absolute value. Okay, I want x squared. So x squared minus 5. Make sure to hit over. Okay. Okay, so there's one graph, and then I want to add another graph, and I want it to be equal to 4. Okay, so here is a picture of our graph, and notice it wants to know when is the graph greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so that's going to occur, right? The graph is bigger than 4 at these locations here. So to the left here, in the middle, and then to the right. So what we want to do is we want to find the intersections. So I'm going to find out, okay, at what x value does that intersection occur? Intersection. Okay, there. You come down here. Intersection, dink, dink. Okay, and uno más. Okay, so notice these are the x values, right? The points of these locations. So we want to go ahead and write this down. So that's when the function's greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so it's greater than or equal to 4 when x is less than or equal to -3, between 1 and 1, okay, and when x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so again, right, this is inequality notation, and then for interval this would be from -infinity to -3, union -1 to 1, union 3 to positive infinity. Okay, and that's how you have it. Again, remember this video was on graphs, analyzing intersections and zeros for graphs in our calculator. Okay.